This is This Week in Geek, DVD commentary with Steve Snowball Sailor, Mike the Birdman Dodd, and special guest Leslie Twig Groupie Smith. Today's DVD movie is for the movie Back to the Future Part 1, which you can buy on DVD now through our website at thisweekingeek.net through amazon.ca.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
And we did all that without computers.
They don't let us out much.
Do we have an intro?
Not really. This is just us ad-libbing.
Are you ready for a sexy party?
Son of Jor-El, kneel before Dodd. Or me, whichever.
If you've seen Godzilla vs. Mothra 37 times, I think I've got a show for you.
You're listening to This Week in Geek with Mike the Birdman Dodd and Steve Snowball Sailor here on 90.1 FM, The New Heat.
Hey everybody, this is This Week in Geek, fan-made DVD commentary. I'm of course Steve Snowball Sailor.
And I'm Mike the Birdman Dodd.
We also have a special guest, but she's kind of down at the bottom of the thing, and she's going to hit play for us.
Yeah, basically, she's playing the same role that Brandon Chambers played from Punk the Dial last week.
Yep.
She is our, basically, our monkey for this.
Yes, our monkey.
But also a special guest commentator as well.
Yeah, so she'll be joining us shortly. And the movie that we're actually going to be reviewing today, or commentating on, is Back to the Future.
Exactly. We're going to do part one of the Back to the Future trilogy. Whether we do the other ones, we don't know yet, but we'll see in future episodes.
If you guys request us, then we'll definitely do those.
Exactly.
The two.
I mean, this is a movie almost everybody has in their collection, or at least watches on CBC when it's on during the summer, or whatever the networks play it during the summer.
Yep. And, of course, the movie is starring Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd, respectively, and directed by Robert Zemeckis.
And do we ever forget the ever-hot Leah Thompson?
Oh, God, she is hot in this movie.
She's gorgeous, but in that classy 1980s kind of way.
Exactly. So we're actually going to get started right now. Now, we're going to let Leslie click the play button. Now, we'll tell you when the movie actually starts so you can be able to play along with us. Right now, we're in the DVD menu, so to let you know where we are, and we'll have her play it right now. So why don't you play it right now, Leslie?
So, yep.
And there it goes. There's a little card. Okay, that's a little nice DVD animation.
So you should see the blue screen of death.
Yep.
Not Windows.
Not Windows. The blue screen of the ratings.
Exactly. So this film has been modified from its original version, formatted to fit this screen.
Yeah, we have the full screen version of the widescreen.
Yeah, but we are in the Hamilton room of Niagara College, once again, recording this at the expense of studying for midterms.
I know, but it's going to be worth it.
Yeah, this is the dedication we give to you, our listeners.
Exactly.
Sacrificing our grades.
Exactly.
For better ones, hopefully.
Yep.
For that measly 5%, as you so eloquently put it last time.
Yes. Hey, anyway, we're seeing the Universal logo right now. Every time I see that, I keep thinking of the Serenity now. I can never watch the Universal logo without actually thinking of Serenity is going to start.
You know, I think I'm actually going to have to actually see that movie at some point.
You've never seen Serenity?
Not yet, but
we'll
now
have
we
to
are
change
joined
that.
up in the booth by Leslie Smith.
Yeah. Hi, Leslie.
Hi.
Yeah, you're going to have to talk a lot closer to your
get
mic, but
closer
that's
to the
okay.
mic. Yeah, that's okay. So you say hi again.
Hi.
Hi.
So, yeah, that's Leslie Smith. She's our first Twig groupie.
Wait, I have to apologize. It was Steven Spielberg that directed this movie.
Yeah.
Or no, it was Robert Zemeckis who directed it. Sorry.
Spielberg
Steven
produced it.
Yeah. I keep getting confused by that. I don't know. I apologize.
A lovely Back to the Future font and logo. I love the look of that. I really do.
I know, I do too. Now we're in Doc Brown's lab.
Man,
with all the clocks.
I cannot imagine how the set designer would have spent all the time winding all these things up.
I know. Supposedly it's set to this specific time to go off, but according to IMDb, which we're going to use a lot from our trivia today, one of the clocks actually you can see, I can't remember which one, but it says apparently down the bottom there's a clock that actually is the correct time or something like that, or it's a different time than everything else.
That's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, it is kind of funny. So
yeah, this is a movie that definitely came out of my childhood. Now, I am 25.
I'm 23.
So
How old are you, Leslie?
I was 40.
I'm 20.
You're 20.
I grew up with it.
I'm older than this
Yeah.
movie.
That's weird.
That's really sad, actually.
Yeah.
It's about my age.
But anyway, yeah, this is definitely part of my childhood. Now, the thing is, I remember watching kind of the edited version. The first time I watched this was the edited version on TV.
Wow, I think I first saw this on CTV, which is a network here in Canada, when I was about, I guess I must have been in grade 6 or 7 for the first time.
You were living in Owen Sound at the time, right?
No, I was actually living in Shallow Lake.
Oh.
Which
So
is
much
like,
better.
yeah, it's this little town, basically country farm of Ontario. It's quiet, you know, whatever.
Is it more north than Owen Sound?
I'd say it's a little bit north.
Oh, okay. All right, so anyway, Yeah, we're watching like this really, definitely 80s newscast with really, really crappy graphics.
Oh, of course. So that's kind of what makes the 80s stand out, is you can always identify an 80s newscast by what it looks like. I mean, absolutely. I mean, you always have, the presenter always has this really frizzy hair, whatnot. Like, it seems like all women news reporters in the 80s looked the same. Now, that's by no means a slight. It really isn't.
No, it just the hairstyle was of the time.
It was very much typecast. It really was.
I just did not like that hair. I don't like 80s hair. I don't like a lot of 80s styles. I don't see why a lot of people are like, oh my god, that was like the best style ever.
Now, you see,
No.
as a person who grew up in the 80s, I kind of have a more of an attraction.
Now that's just gross.
Yeah, we just saw, I guess what would be the Rune Goldberg machine of the movie. It kind of reminds you of the one from Pee-wee's Playhouse where he used it to make breakfast for himself.
Yeah.
This one's for Einstein, which is Doc Brown's dog.
And now we see Michael J. Fox.
The introduction thereof.
Yep. Now, supposedly, here's a little bit of trivia for you. Michael J. Fox actually had to. He was still working on Family Ties at the time, and basically the deal that they made with the producers of Family Ties and the producers of Back to the Future, he would do Family Ties during the day, and then he would have to do Back to the Future at night. That's why a lot of scenes, except other than this one, and maybe I think there's a few scenes later on during the day that that Michael J. Fox was recording during the day.
Yeah, because like a bulk of this movie actually does happen at night.
So Michael J. Fox barely got any sleep when he was working on this.
About 2 hours, I think, was the average.
And supposedly the producers of Family Ties did not want Michael J. Fox to do anything, did not want to miss any episodes.
Yeah.
They had that, which meant there was no write-offs of a script and no missed episodes, so he had to stay with that contract.
That's insane.
Yeah, it is. And now we're going to see the major blast from the massive amp dude from his axe.
Oh, of course.
That's how everyone listens to music.
Oh my gosh, I forgot how freaking huge that thing is.
It makes me think of that line out of, what was it, the Italian Job. I think it was Seth Green that said it. So I want you to go check out the line out of
yes.
speakers.
It's like, I want speakers. They'll blow girls' clothes off.
Exactly. And we love Seth Green. We truly
Seth
do.
Green is awesome. We should get him on the show.
We actually should.
Yeah.
So yeah, Michael J. Fox just got himself concussed.
Yeah, and now we actually see his face. Because you didn't see it just previously until just
And
now.
the 1980s Huey Lewis and the News glasses there, or Corey Hart glasses.
No, those are are those aviator glasses?
Not quite Aviator. Not quite Tom Cruise, I'm feeling it.
I kind of looked at similar. I think maybe a little bit smaller.
And his little pathetic guitar. But
Yeah, technically though, like Michael J. Fox is pretty small. He's like
Yeah.
5'4", so
So he's like a little guy.
yeah.
He's my size.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, if you actually see size comparisons on our Facebook or our MySpace account where we have pictures with Leslie here, you'll see the size difference. She's definitely among giants.
Yeah,
in more
exactly.
ways than one.
Actually, that actually happened here on the set. Apparently, since Christopher Lloyd is like 6'1", and Michael J. Fox is 5'4", obviously the composition of the shot will kind of be really off.
Yeah.
So what they did was if you notice, Christopher Lloyd has kind of a hunched over look to Doc Brown.
Yeah.
And they actually kind of use some camera effects where he would stand, like basically they would stand kind of a little bit further apart, or one was closer to the camera than the other, so they can kind of seem like the same height.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, now we see all the clocks going off. There's exactly 25 minutes slow.
You see,
8:25.
I don't know, just something about seeing Michael J. Fox in this movie brings back a lot of fond memories of the 80s, especially with this.
Huey Lewis and the News.
Exactly, with stuff like this.
Oh my gosh, I love Huey Lewis.
I really do. It's stuff like this. It makes me remember why I love the 80s so much.
Exactly.
And why I wish the 80s would come back.
I don't, but I like when they make movies.
The
Burger
80s
King, the biggest form of product placement ever.
And Toys R Us, if you look a little closer.
Oh yeah.
I've actually never noticed either of those.
You never noticed Burger King?
And
I've never
Texaco?
noticed Burger King.
Wow.
You know, I don't think in all the times I've been through the United States, which has been a fair chunk, I've ever actually been to a Texaco gas station.
But still, there's one thing that you never really see. Have you ever seen anyone basically tailgate on a skateboard on a car?
That's actually called skeeting,
It's called skiing?
I think. Or no, sketching, something like that. I can't remember.
I've never, before this movie and even after, I have never seen any movie or anybody do that in real life, where someone was basically tailgating off a car.
Now, I will admit, I got this term out of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, so any street cred I might have at this point is likely gone.
Yes.
But yeah.
But your geek cred just jumped incredibly.
What can I say? I am a virtual skating god. you should take me on in like Tony Hawk sometime.
Tony Hawk will take you on virtually.
Oh, yeah. Now, speaking of video games, actually, Nintendo produced 2 games for this.
Well, I think it was 3, wasn't it?
Well, technically they had 2 and 3 in the same cartridge.
Oh, that's right, yes.
Now, I'd like you to go to the AngryNintendoNerd.com.
He does a review of this?
Absolutely. And
I have to see this now.
You will, and trust me, it's not something you want to listen to at work. So this is our disclaimer right now. You'll laugh at so hard. Stuff's going to come out of your nose.
But listen to it alone.
Yeah, listen to it alone for full effect, or get a bunch of your friends. Doesn't matter. Either way,
Yeah.
it's funny stuff.
Definitely.
So there's Mr. Strickland, the principal, giving Marty a good old reaming out. Now, if you notice, one of the cliches of 1980s movies is the principal always hates the kids. I mean, look at the guy from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. This guy.
What's his character's name?
Probably the dude from Revenge of the Nerds, why I didn't like them either.
No.
I'm
trying to remember now the principal's name of Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Mr. Rooney.
Yes. Damn it, now people are going to be... people are like screaming at their iPods or whatever. It's Rooney! And I apologize.
So Michael J. Fox's band is getting ready to perform their auditioning.
And they're playing Huey Lewis and the News.
I guess a rock cover.
Whoever knew that Michael J. Fox could play guitar?
Actually, I forget what CD it's on. I think it's called Punk Goes 80s. There's a cover of The Power of Love.
Wow.
On it.
I'll check it.
So definitely talk to Pierce from Punk the Dial, which is also another show here on CRNC 90.1, The New Heat
and Brandon,
FM.
If you listen to our last commentary, Brandon was on it. So
yeah. Actually, Pierce was actually going to join us tonight, but due to some scholarly obligations, he couldn't join us tonight.
Yeah, he's writing our notes for studying for midterms.
Whereas I spent a chunk of my afternoon condensing some of them.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's definitely been one of those days.
So you guys get to watch a movie and he's doing homework.
Yep.
Well, we're working.
He's doing our homework.
We're working in a way.
Well, this is schoolwork in a way, but we just have more fun than he is.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know. Does Pierce have fun doing
schoolwork? Actually, the times that I've worked with this kid, I cannot believe how tirelessly he goes on. If this guy doesn't get a graffiti award or something major this year, then it's a real tragedy.
I want a graffiti award, but it probably won't happen.
You know what, man? Don't jinx it, because honestly, we work pretty hard. But, you know, folks, we're not here to say how hard we work. It's up to you, our listenership, to give us feedback at thisweekingeek.net.
And contact the station to let us know that we should deserve a graffiti award. They'll know what it is.
Yeah, exactly. But by no means are we fishing for votes here, though, folks. Yeah. We honestly aren't. But, yeah, so they're talking, Michael J. Fox and the other character, I can't remember, Jen, are talking about going up to the lake, have a romantic getaway, which is obviously the cliche in the 1980s. Like, does mom and dad find out? Because you'll notice in a lot of later movies, especially in the 90s, when they did the whole teen comedy things, you never saw this really come up anymore. Like I said, the 80s were a simpler time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think it's pretty much anything before
92.
No, I think actually before 9/11. To be honest, it was kind of simpler, but now everyone's kind of weird.
You see,
this lady's weird.
As someone who grew up in this era, I would say movies really started to change about 1992. Like, you couldn't get away with making...
Oh, yeah, you know what? You think you're right, because it's now starting... The movies pretty much started getting darker at that point.
Yeah, I mean, you have these feel-good science fiction comedies. There are movies that try to be, like, in this vein. I think the most contemporary example, I think of a good... mixed genre comedy that has a relatively good cult status is Shaun of the Dead. Is Shaun of the Dead in this kind of vein? Not really.
Yeah, but it's still considered dark, but it's still funny.
It's funny.
Yeah.
And, like, I will admit, folks, I do not care for the scary movie franchise. And I think that's the closest attempt we've tried to bring back the teen comedies. I guess the American Pies would be the newer generations.
Yeah.
Movies.
Yeah. I mean, that's even one thing, too. They start to kind of get more...
racy.
Yeah. I was thinking crude, but yeah, racy is a good term.
But
look, here's the phone number. Is it 555? Of
absolutely.
course. That's another thing in trivia. If you don't know, 555 is not an actual area code.
I think they knew that.
Well, I'm just checking.
But on a side note, if you watch that, notice that he put that piece of paper in his pocket. Keep that in mind as you watch this movie.
Why? Is there a continuity goof?
No, it's a crucial part to the movie.
Oh, right. Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you meant a little bit more deeper, but yes. Okay.
Oh, no. It's the weird little things about these kind of movies you actually kind of pick up on.
Yep.
And this was a movie, I think, for continuity, didn't have a lot of goofs for it, because
there's a lot of continuity goofs as far as time with the time travel of how they explain certain things.
Stuff.
Not really intentional stuff. I think it was more like a lot of people were saying like the time travel does not make sense when this like what would happen in time when they're time traveling back and forth.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. It's in the span of all three movies, but as far as continuity goofs, I don't think there's a whole lot. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to check the IMDb for that, but
yeah, which currently I'm having difficulty doing.
Yeah, it's okay. Anyway, now you see Biff and his dad, George McFly. Amazingly enough, though, folks, if those who don't know, Michael J. Fox is actually, I think it's 3 years older than Crispin Glover, who plays who plays George McFly.
You know what's weird? Girls seem to really like Crispin Glover, and I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
Yeah, because there's a friend of mine who has a huge crush on him.
He was in a horror movie, wasn't he?
I know he was in Charlie's Angels. I'm not too sure. I'm going to have to actually look that up at some point.
He was, yeah. I know he was famous for a horror movie at one point. And because of that, he was actually up to play the Joker in the Batman Begins sequel.
Which I think would have been much better casting than Heath Ledger.
I know.
Now,
that's another story entirely.
But I'll say this. Heath Ledger's performance in Brokeback Mountain was easily the best of his career. Without
playing a gay cowboy?
The fact that movie was so powerful, and it was directed by Ang Lee, the same guy who directed The Incredible Hulk, which I'm sorry, sucked.
Which they are remaking.
But
this is not This Week in Geek. This is fan commentary for Back to the Future. So.
But yeah, anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
I'll say I'm a Michael J. Fox fan.
I love Michael J. Fox. I truly do.
Now, it makes you kind of wonder, did they actually age Biff? I think they did in this.
Oh, yeah.
I think makeup obviously probably did a lot of aging to Biff to make him look a lot older than Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
Even, I think, at this point, George or Crispin.
You know, you don't see Biff
weird.
in a lot of movies.
I never realized that. Wow, I never actually realized until just now that Crispin Glover actually does look a lot younger than Michael J. Fox.
Now, I just looked up the name of the guy who plays Biff Tannen, which is Thomas F. Wilson.
Yeah. What else what has he been?
He was in the movie Zoom.
Oh,
sadly enough, he was in SpongeBob SquarePants.
As what?
Various voices, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think what else has he done? He's done a lot of cartoons. Actually, he was in Nashville. Actually, wow, he was in Crash Bandicoot.
Wow.
Star Trek Voyager Elite Forces.
Which character did he play?
Crew Rick Beastman or something like that.
That's right, Rick Beastman. Yep, I remember that.
And he was in Duckman.
He was in Duckman?
He was in Duckman.
Wow.
So
you can make a really good good money off of doing voice work.
Yeah, actually, a lot of his stuff in the most recent stuff seems to be a lot of voice work. Actually, he was in Batman as Anthony Tony Zuko.
Anthony Tony Zuko. I can't remember.
Probably one of the Batman bad guys.
Here's another piece of trivia for you. I think it's Linda McFly or whatever the sister's name is.
Yeah.
Is actually 6 years older than, I think it's either George or Crispin or Leah Thompson.
That was played by Wendy Jo Sperber.
Yep.
And she's actually died. She has passed away.
Oh, wow, that's
She
sad.
died on November 29th, 2005 in Sherman Oaks, California due to breast cancer.
Oh, that sucks.
That really does. So I guess we should dedicate this commentary in memory of her.
Sure.
And honestly, folks, a lot of the people in this movie actually have a lot of unfortunate conditions. Like Michael J. Fox is Parkinson's?
Yeah, it's Parkinson's.
And breast cancer. So I do encourage you to give to your local charities and help support and fight these terrible diseases.
Yeah. Supposedly, actually, I think if I remember correctly, what Michael J. Fox said one point is this is when he worked on Back to the Future. This is where he started to notice that something was odd, or that when he started to kind of develop Parkinson's eventually, because apparently he said that it was his pinky that started going. At first, and he just thought it was just kind of a fluke or whatever. And I think it was during he was making this movie. That's when he noticed it.
Yeah,
just noticed it.
Wow.
He didn't know it was Parkinson's, but he kind of noticed that there was something odd.
Wow.
So, and yeah, I hope Michael J. Fox. I hope there's a cure for Parkinson's.
So do
I like Michael J. Fox.
Exactly. He's honestly one of the most gifted Canadian actors, and he's a great comedic and he's a great character actor.
Oh yeah,
I
and
think
he
he's
was.
more than just a great Canadian actor, though.
That's true.
Yeah,
He was great in Spin City.
he was.
Sucks that he had to basically stop acting in it just because his Parkinson's was getting too beyond him.
Another interesting piece of trivia about Michael J. Fox: he never did receive his high school diploma.
Really?
He just doing a little bit of research here, folks, while I'm actually reading it, and well, you keep talking while I research.
Okay. Anyway, we see Leah Thompson here, who was actually 10. Is it Michael J. Fox is 10 days?
10 days
Younger.
10 days younger. No, I was thinking. I was trying to remember which one it was. That it was either younger or older. I apologize, folks, that we don't have this much trivia as Superman last time. But hey, we're Superman geeks.
Exactly.
That's what we know. So, but this is cool. We still love Michael J. Fox and Back to the Future, so we had to do this one. It was just one of those movies we had to do.
Now, I'd like to add in, I did do the research, and he received his GED in 1995.
Oh, okay.
And he has a theater named after him in his hometown of Burnaby in BC.
Burnaby, BC. That's cool. Yeah, so you obviously you'll notice that a lot of scenes in this movie are shot at night, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's the only time Michael J. Fox could actually work.
You know what's freaky?
Twin Pines Mall. Remember that name, folks. We'll talk about it later.
Did you know that Michael J. Fox shares the same birthday with Johnny Depp and Natalie Portman?
Really?
So Captain Jack Sparrow and the chick from V for Vendetta.
Evie.
Two of my favorite actors on the same day.
It's
Cool.
freaky. And can someone explain to me the strange attraction women have to Johnny Depp at some point?
I don't know.
So please
He's in
email
his 40s.
us.
He's in his 40s. He's kind of getting old.
But he's talented.
He's talented. Yeah, he does a lot. I do agree with that. He does do a lot of crazy roles and does them extremely well.
It's the level of talent that draws me to him.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So now we got Michael J. Fox. He's standing outside at the Twin Pines parking lot with Einstein, watching Doc Brown emerge from this truck with all this smoke billowing out of it.
Yep.
And
It's kind of freaked me out a little bit when I was a kid.
and the
Because I didn't know what
DeLorean,
was actually going to come out.
the world's coolest car with the.
Oh, yes.
Look at the license plate. Out of time.
Out of time. Actually, that is a registered license plate in California.
That's awesome.
For the DeLorean is out of time.
That's awesome.
Actually, the kind of neat thing about the DeLorean, I actually got to stand right beside the actual DeLorean.
I went to the one here in Niagara Falls over at Madame Tussauds Wax Museum, but I didn't get to stand beside the actual one.
I got to stand beside the actual one. It's actually it was at Universal Studios for the Back to the Future ride.
Yeah.
And now there is one there that I don't think it's the actual same one.
Yeah.
But the one when I was there, that they actually had the real DeLorean there, and I got to stand beside it. I actually have a picture of it somewhere on my computer. I should probably upload it eventually.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Doc Brown. Emmett Brown. Think about Emmett. Think about it. Okay. The writers of the movie, Bob Gale, I think his name was, actually made the name Emmett because it's time spelled backwards, and it's pronounced with syllables. M-it.
I was unaware of this.
Yep. Actually, also, Doc Brown's middle initial is L. The name is never actually given in any of the three movies, and the writer actually said that it stands for Lathrop, which kind of almost spells portal backwards.
I just found out there's a gold-plated DeLorean in Reno, Nevada,
Really?
and there's only
Where are
6.
you looking this?
Wikipedia. So
Oh,
we'll
cool.
we'll put this in our show notes when we actually get a chance to go back and listen to our shows and actually make show notes on these.
Yeah, I never really made a lot of show notes for last time. It was
Actually, you didn't.
no, it was just cast notes.
It was just cast notes. But anyway,
Cast and crew.
so we're looking at this DeLorean here.
It's
Doc Brown's
freaking cool.
Got it modified so it's remote control, which we know this is possible thanks to Mythbusters,
Yeah,
which is quite cool.
yeah.
But yeah, they only made about almost 9,000 of these cars. Only 6,000 are believed to still exist.
Yeah.
And most of them were actually left-handed models. Only 23
Really?
right-handed models were ever produced.
Huh. Weird.
And there's one with a twin turbo engine in it.
Nice. Does that
It's
to make the
very
flame
cool.
effect?
That'd be really cool if it did, though. But yeah, these currently sell for £25,000 each as of
That's-
2002.
UK money.
There's a DeLorean car show.
Ooh, cool. You know what's weird? Marty's coat, the life preserver thingy. Makes you kind of like wonder, is that a costume choice from the costume designer, or was that something that Michael J. Fox just had on?
It's a puffy vest.
It's a puffy vest.
It's a puffy vest, which seems to be really popular now with like ghetto rats, but whatever.
And
Now,
baby.
Now, when I say
Wait,
ghetto rats,
the most iconic shot
in the movie.
from Back to the
Oh,
Future is that shot. 88 miles per hour. Which turns into what kilometers?
I don't know.
We should find that out.
You know, it's funny, actually, just because I was once again going on the whole ghetto rats tangent, looking at fashion in the 1980s, it's kind of funny how you see fashion evolve through the 80s, 90s, and now.
Yeah. Actually, Marty looks kind of normal
compared to nowadays.
Yeah. His wardrobe is really... It's not really definitely 80. It doesn't say 80s fashion.
Except for the leather jacket.
Except for the life preserver.
No, it's the jean jacket. Who wears
the jean jacket? That's
and
true.
The tight jeans.
Oh, yeah, because he's wearing... Yeah, that's right. He's wearing a jean jacket and the vest over top of that. That's weird. I don't know. Still, he would look decent today.
He would blend into Niagara College pretty easily.
Definitely.
Which, on a side note, evidently in Gran Turismo 4, there is a DeLorean.
Nice.
And it's drifting. It looks pretty cool.
Nice. That's coming out soon, I think, isn't it?
Oh, that's been out for a while. That was one of the PS2 launch titles.
That's Gran Turismo... Gran Turismo 4. Yes, okay, I'm sorry. I was thinking Grand Theft Auto, but I don't know why.
But yeah, it turns out the car has actually been featured in a number of computer games.
Really?
Carmageddon, Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Nice.
But it was called the Deluxo.
Probably couldn't get the rights to the name, probably.
Yeah. There's Scarface, The World Is Yours, but it's got the scissor doors instead of the gull wing doors.
Oh, okay.
Called the Delphine.
And now we see the DeLorean frozen. How? Okay, that means you're going to wonder, where the heck did he send Einstein? To the Ice Age?
Well, technically he went a minute ahead to the future, and actually some of the time travel in this actually kind of fringes on pseudo-real science.
Yeah. Apparently, I don't know. It's weird. Like, how does it get frozen? I don't because throughout the entire movie you never really see the DeLorean get frozen again, except in here.
Yeah, actually, you see when you see it come back at the end of the movie, the car's cold again.
But that frozen?
Not that frozen.
Not that frozen. I don't know. I was kind of wondering. It's like it's 1 minute behind his. Okay, where do you send him? I don't know. If anyone knows where he sent him, I want to know. He skipped over that minute to instantly arrive at this point in time. Okay. So apparently the time portal that he went into was what made it ice. Ah, yes. This is where he starts to explain. What's this thing called?
The time circuits.
Time circuits, really? Is that what it's called? No, I thought it was called something else.
No.
Anyway, it looks cool.
The flux capacitor is what
the flux capacitor is what makes everything work. Or time travel work.
But the time circuits you have to program.
Yeah. November 5th, 1955. You know what's kind of funny?
What?
There's a lot of fives in that.
Okay.
I was going to say that it was, like, if you think about what November is the 11th month, yeah, it didn't work. I'm sorry. I was going to go for something cool there, but it didn't work.
But yeah,
moving along.
But moving right along, though, it's interesting just how he presents the theory of time travel, because technically in the Back to the Future movies, the future is not set. The future will go along the path it's predicting right now. But if you go back and change something, it affects the future.
Exactly.
Now, there are theories in time travel where saying if you go back and change something, history will it'll change, but for you, it'll be different. Now, what I mean by that is, let's say you go back in time and kill Hitler, right?
Yeah.
A person similar to Hitler will still exist, so you create a new parallel universe where Hitler doesn't exist. So that timeline still happened, but the future you go to will be different.
That's whole string theory right there.
Yeah, basically, string theory.
String theory, I think the string theory basically explains that there's like 10 multiple dimensions, and there's multiple universes where every single action is made in a different universe.
Yeah.
So I could basically say I'm going to hit Leslie, which I won't. But in another universe, I did.
Exactly. So there's a universe that exists where this
I know, eh?
happened.
I probably would be hurting about now in that other universe. I'm sorry, other me.
But the time travel theory discussed here is what I would call fragile history. It's kind of like the whole kind of butterfly effect thing. You go back and you change one thing, it ripples forward.
Yeah, that's one thing that always kind of like not necessarily confused me, but kind of made me go, huh? Because it's like if time was that fragile, I don't know.
Well,
we now know that time is basically the fourth dimension, is the actual fourth dimension.
I don't know. I've always considered time to be a concept.
Because
we only perceive time.
It's another. Well, it's another type of. It is another type of dimension. It's basically you got the first, second, and third, and then there's what is. Shoot, I don't know. I can't remember what the first how they describe first, second, and third. Second is where basically everything is flat and there's no 3D. Obviously 3D, and 3D is this dimension, and then fourth dimension is time.
So time, space, and relativity.
I don't think space and relativity. Well, it might be. I don't know. I'll have to look up string theory again. But yeah, they did say that the fourth dimension is time.
Yeah.
So it's definitely. I mean, it's definitely a different type of concept to kind of think about how the universe works through that as a different dimension. Because then, if you think about it, if say in a 3D world to looking into a 2D world, everything looks flat in a 2D world looking to us. But in a 2D world, they would basically, it's like they see a sliver. If you take your body and kind of cut yourself into little slivers, that one of those slivers that's the 2D dimension. If you're basically everything is flat, everything is straight, it's completely different. But so if you think about it in that kind of case, looking from the 3D dimension looking to the fourth dimension, technically there is no linear time frame. It's everything is you can go forward in time, you can go backwards in time. That's one thing I guess that always kind of fascinated scientists is the fact that if we ever saw a time like that where we can go back and forth, the time is not linear. It's basically a constant. It kind of makes you wonder. Anyway, that's my scientific moment for the day.
And somehow this guy figured it out.
Yeah. Supposedly Doc Brown, Christopher Lloyd, with his crazy white hair and jumpsuit, figured it out. Go figure.
So now the Libyans that Doc Brown stole the plutonium from, which they're going to use to make a nuclear weapon.
You know
they're
what?
A little bit mad.
It's kind of funny. In this movie, you kind of somewhat have this feel that the terrorists, the Libyans, are kind of there for comedic effect.
Oh, yeah.
And yet nowadays, if you have a terrorist in a movie, it has a far more somber tone just because of 9/11.
I mean, look at 24.
Yeah, exactly.
A prime example of how terrorists are portrayed as the uber bad guys.
Yeah. 9/11 kind of really messed with a lot of people's heads and
but
sensitivities.
Don't forget, but this was in the day of the Ayatollah. Way back then, like this is whole kind of Reagan era stuff.
Yeah.
So terrorists back then, they were taken seriously, but you're thinking more of the Russians and stuff like that. You're not taking the Arabic terrorists as serious.
Exactly. I don't think there was Arabic terrorists, but they weren't really as I want to say threatened or threatening as they are now.
They weren't as prominent as the Russians
were
at the time because of the Cold War.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
Now Marty's getting ready to use
the time machine for the first time.
Yep, but he doesn't
with his
know
Nike
he's gonna
shoes.
Use it.
That's another product placement for you.
And JCPenney, which no longer exists, I don't think.
No, it doesn't. Unless it's somewhere in the States.
I'm not sure.
I know it's not in Canada anymore, I don't think.
Yeah. So he's getting ready. They're shooting
Go
at
back
him.
In time.
DeLorean's just kind of whipping around.
Yep.
I got to sit in a DeLorean in Niagara Falls, which is pretty cool.
Are you serious? I never actually got to sit in one.
Yeah, it's cool. I asked, and you can sit in it.
Where's that one? Is that
the Wax Museum?
Oh, the Wax Museum. Oh, yeah, Man on Two Sides. Okay, right.
Yeah.
That'd
So
be cool.
if you're in the area, folks, I really recommend you come to Niagara Falls and come check it out.
And we'll have a party.
Like Leslie, have you gone to the Wax Museum to go see the car?
I did a few years ago. I don't really remember it very well.
See, I think this summer, This Week in Geek should take it on the road.
Yep.
And do some more geeky stuff like this.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, depending on when you're listening to this, we're doing a show, hopefully, from the Ontario Science Centre.
Yeah.
We're going to do the Marvel Superheroes exhibit. We're taking the show on the road, much like we did for PodCamp Toronto 2007.
Yep. That's going to be fun. Then we're going to try to see 300 that same day.
But if not, we're definitely seeing Spider-Man 2 on the IMAX.
Yeah, that's
so
gonna be
we'll
cool.
have some cool stuff to bring back.
Yep.
Now, once again...
And there he goes, back in time.
Yep, he's back in time now. He just...
Takes out a scarecrow.
Takes out a scarecrow, totally wipes him out. He's crashing into a barn.
Yep.
So Marty more or less has no idea what has just happened to him.
No. I think he probably has some clue. Oh, no, wait. No, he didn't have a clue where he was at this point.
Exactly.
He didn't actually figure out that he was back in time.
Now, this is the classic 1950s farmer.
Yeah.
The Peabodys, I think.
Yes, they were, because they apparently owned all the land.
Yep.
Okay, those headlights, by the way. I think it was in this. Yeah, I think it's in this movie. At one point, the lights flash. I think it's when Marty's trying to start up the car again, to try to go back and go back to 1985, and supposedly those lights flash SOS. Mm-hmm. Now this is weird. Okay, we're gonna see something like a comic book. Okay, we're gonna see a comic book that the kid has that supposedly depicts this.
Actually, we just saw it.
We just saw it,
and it's in Space Zombies from Pluto.
That's weird.
Now, I'm not sure if that was an actual title at that time, as I know in 1955, this is before the comic book authority clamped down on
There's always
comics.
an animal whenever Marty crashes into something or stores the DeLorean somewhere.
I love how I'm trying to give them historical data, and you just cut me right off.
Sorry.
I
just had
man.
to. Well, I had to point it because it was a cow. Cow.
And we thoroughly love cows. Obviously, I do.
I
And you know
provide
why.
the humor, you provide the facts. That's
what
what we do around here.
Now he's getting shot at
Yeah.
by a historically accurate shotgun.
He's already mutated in a human form. So, Leslie, what are your thoughts about the movie? I mean, I know we talked about how we love it. What childhood memories do you remember of this movie?
It's one of the first movies I ever remember seeing. I still
Really?
watch it all the time, yeah.
Did you ever see it in theaters?
I didn't see it in theaters. It came out before I was born.
Oh, yeah, true. It came out about 2 years after I was born.
I was 4.
Okay, didn't he crash into a pine tree right about then?
Yep.
Yeah. That's relevant, folks. Think about that.
Now, does that little scene there, does that not make you think of the Batman 1960s series?
Yes, when he's coming out of the Batcave?
Yeah.
Totally.
Now, I wonder if that's a reference. I'm not sure, though.
Maybe.
You know, it seemed to get daylight awful quick.
Yeah, it kind of did, didn't it?
But that's probably just a little continuity thing we're just noticing.
Yeah.
Niven would be proud.
Yes, he would be. We still have to get him on the commentary. That'd be cool.
Now, to those of you that don't know who Niven is, David Niven is one of our film teachers here at Niagara College, who's actually worked on a number of movies in Hollywood and in the Canadian film industry.
Yep.
So he's kind of like he's like our film guru.
Yep.
He's the guy I'm pretty sure Pierce is going to grow up into being.
That's kind of creepy.
Pierce will be future Niven.
Wow.
It's very true. Perhaps in some Back to the Future way, maybe they're like some weird offspring thing.
That's the weirdest woman ever.
It's like my mom. My grandmother Marie.
Wow.
And now Marty's just figuring out the time machine is busted.
Busted.
AKA out of gas, yeah.
The DeLorean, it makes you wonder, is DeLoreans actually do this? Or that quickly?
I don't think most DeLoreans are powered by a plutonium chamber, mind you.
True. Well, no, that's just the time traveling portion. There is still actually a car.
As far as I know, the DeLoreans were fairly reliable, but it was getting parts for them that was the real issue. So if you had a DeLorean today, you'd have a heck of a time finding parts.
Especially a door.
Yeah, a door. Yeah, because there was the gull wing door,
Yep.
and then there was the scissor wing door. More of the scissor. Think of more of the not the Lamborghinis, but you know it's
where it basically it goes
Slides
up,
forward.
Slides forward, yeah.
as opposed to up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Marty is now in 1955 Hill Valley.
Yep. And he's noticing, okay, things are definitely different. What was it? Cattle
Queen of Montana, with someone Stanwyck and Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan. That comes into play a little bit later, folks.
Yeah.
Sandman.
And the Texaco is still a Texaco.
Yeah, and it's a full serve Texaco. You never see those around a lot lately anymore,
No,
folks.
you seem to get more full serve stations in the States. I've actually
Yeah, in
noticed
Canada, not a whole lot.
Nobody wants to be out in the cold.
that. Well, yeah, pretty much, and you have to pay somebody for that.
Well, no.
Yeah, you pay more for like full service gas.
I've never had that. Well, then again, I don't drive a car, but I've noticed that my parents don't have to do that a lot. when we
How
go to
often
full service.
do you travel to the far states?
Oh, to the States?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
is it-
talking about in the States they have to pay a little bit extra. I did not know. No,
Oh, yeah.
in Canada, when they used to have full serve, they didn't have that.
I don't know. At least where I was, it always seemed like you had to. So now he's noticing the clock tower, which in 1985
Did not work.
it was more dilapidated. Yeah, and it didn't work.
That's what
Yeah.
the old lady was collecting money for.
Exactly.
That weird old lady.
The Lions Club.
Lions Club. Shriners. All right, okay. There's a little bit of trivia here, folks. When you see the van, the re-election. There we go. Okay, see that picture there? That supposedly the mayor, or re-elect the mayor? That is actually one of the crew.
I think it's like the production or the set dresser, one of them.
Something like that. To me, it's Bob Grossman. I don't know. We'll have to look it up again. I wish we had IMDb in here. Oh, and it's 1955. It's gotta be a dream. Wow, it's kind of weird seeing Michael J. Fox look like that. Like, look that young. He had a different kind of hair. Apparently, if he, I mean, well, he had a
It
different
makes
kind
me
of
realize
hairstyle.
how old I really am. Thanks.
What? You're not that
Just-
old. You're 2 years older than me.
But why do I have more memories of the 1980s?
Because you have 2 extra years of 80s.
Exactly.
Maybe I just got a good friggin' memory.
You were born in what? 81. I was born in 83.
86.
And you don't remember a good chunk of this stuff?
I was a sheltered kid.
Oh, that I know, folks. Trust me, he was a very chill kid. Actually,
Let's just say I never watched the Transformers movie. The original. Yeah.
you see, actually, that's one of the commentaries we're doing very soon is the Transformers the movie. I actually have to catch him up on this stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he's in this 1950s diner, and the telephone is so different looking. I mean, that's back when the operators actually had to switch you. Way back in the day.
No, that was more the 30s and 40s, I think.
Yeah, but there was still a lot of human interaction in the telephone system. It did not become truly digital, more or less, until
No,
the
well,
late
it's
70s.
still analog. There's a lot of places that the phone is still analog.
Not anymore.
Really? In Canada, there's no more analog systems?
Not a lot of analog. I used to work for the phone company. I used to work for AT&T, and all the switching is now digital.
Oh, cool.
But anyway, yeah, that's when you could get a cup of coffee for more or less nothing
Yeah.
and get change.
Hey, look! It's his dad! McFly. Okay, now if you look at one of the cronies, Biff's cronies, one of them is actually Billy Zane. I think it's one of his first movies.
Yep. Yep, there he is right
There
there.
he is right there. The one basically right next to Biff.
The greaser, I'll call him.
I think his name was... Shoot.
That's an interesting name.
Shoot, yeah.
I can't remember what his name is. Yeah.
So
We'll see in the credits.
So look how young Thomas Wilson is here.
Yeah.
I mean, geez. And he's got one of those voices that is so iconic, you know it's him.
Dork thinks he's gonna drown.
Wow, back when dork was a serious insult.
Yeah.
Figure this one out, folks. Really. So Crispin Glover, in one of his first roles, too, he looks so meek.
I know he does. Actually, I had a chance to be able to actually meet him, but unfortunately there was just too many people around him that I never got a chance to. He was at the Fan Expo in Toronto about 2-3 years ago or something like that. And I could have had a chance to meet him, but but I don't know, I just wasn't able to. Kind of sucks. He look a lot different. Like he actually has long hair now a little bit.
Yeah.
And he looks a lot older.
Can
Kind of
imagine.
creepy. It's kind of creepy.
So the last movie I saw him in was Charlie's Angels.
I do remember that. That guy looks familiar.
Did you know that Crispin Glover was actually in a James Bond movie?
Really? Which one?
Diamonds Are Forever. He was the Spectre assassin, Mr. Wind.
Oh.
And the Hood
Okay,
Duffy
so
in Chinatown.
which one was he? Which horror movie was he in?
Friday the 13th. Oh, yeah, he's the guy that got killed while they were watching the porno movie, and he gets sliced by
No, I think he was
Jason.
into something else. He was a main character in one of the Friday the 13th, or not in a horror movie. Can't remember which though.
Willard, maybe?
Willard. Sounds about right. What other movies has he been in?
I don't know. Those are the ones I really know offhand.
Well,
So Marty's running away now. He's trying to chase
Chasing
after
a-
his dad.
yeah, and now we start to realize what his dad actually was when he was a teenager, which apparently a lot of teenage boys would do. At least Mike.
I'm much more high tech.
That's true. He was infrared.
Just like the Predator.
And night vision.
I wish I could make that really cool clicking sound.
He's a peeping Tom.
You guys are such guys.
Absolutely.
You like it, don't you, Leslie? Come on.
Yes.
You want a peeping Tom, don't you?
And that's the kind of professionalism you can expect from This Week in Geek. So please email us at feedback@thisweekingeek.net.
Shut up. It was a funny joke.
Once again, just like Al on Tool Time, please write to...
Yeah. I don't think so, Tim.
So, yeah, Michael J. Fox just got smacked by a car.
Yeah. Apparently, would normally kill a person, only knocks them out. One of these dang kids get me out of the car. Oh, yes. The old underwear scene.
Ah, yes. Where we're first introduced to young Leah Thompson.
Yep.
In her prime, more or less.
Oh, wow. That's kind of creepy.
Can you believe she was born in 1961?
Wow. It's not that old.
Yeah.
She's actually a few years... She's about 6 years younger than my dad. My dad's 51, so she's maybe, in her early 40s.
Yeah. She's also been in such movies as Howard the Duck.
Yep. I remember that.
That's something we got to do a commentary on, let me tell you.
God, Howard the Duck. Yeah, apparently. I heard of, like, George Lucas and Robin Williams. They did kind of like a something for Audible.com, and I actually have a recording of it. And Robin Williams actually asked, I was like, so what would you want to basically remake next? And George Lucas is like, Howard the Duck.
That would be incredible.
Yeah, he was going to remake Howard the Duck.
You know what? I'm just watching Leah Thompson here, and I didn't put two and two together when I was a kid, realizing this was the same girl from Caroline in the City.
Yeah.
And I had such a crush on her way back then. In fact, I think I still do. Actually, this is kind of like
I like her in this because she's looks a lot hotter.
And you see, it's not.
Sorry, Leslie. I know we have.
See, women in the 1950s, and this is like 50s, and then you can kind of tie this into the 1980s later. Women just had a different look about them. It wasn't what you see on Much Music or MTV kind of girl pretty like you'd see now. But it's a more sincere pretty, I think, which is what separates the eras, I think, when you look at the terms of the sexuality.
That's why I like the 50s. It sucks because, I mean, like, I love technology, and I love the technology that we have today, and I don't wish to really be in any kind of era without the technology that I have today. But being in the 50s, I think, would have been cool.
I think as a cultural experience, like I was just saying, when you look at the cultural differences, specifically in flirtation and sexuality, you can just look at the way she's dressed, specifically look at her period quote-unquote costume.
Exactly.
It's a lot less revealing than it would be, say, nowadays. Yeah. And you could follow this evolution into the later, when she's in 1985.
Yep.
She's still dressed kind of fun, kind of funky, because the personality from now will carry into the future as opposed to the future Marty's originally from. Now, Marty's seeing his Uncle Joey, who in his 1985 is in jail.
Yeah, that's why I said, you're going to get used to these bars, kid.
And so, yeah, going along with my original point, like I said, you can see it in the evolution. And that's what I loved about the 80s. These movies represent the best feel of the 80s. Yeah. And this kind of makes the 50s seem... I'll admit, it's a romanticized version of it.
Yeah, yeah. This is when TVs were on wheels.
And rare.
And what?
And rare.
When things were a lot different.
And rare, that's right, yeah, because TVs in 1950s were definitely a luxury.
Exactly. I mean, this is when TVs used to cost a fair chunk.
And it was only in black and white. And there was not a lot of TV channels out there. I think it was pretty much like NBC, ABC, and all those kind of legacy channels.
Exactly. I mean, this was the era of the terrestrial broadcaster.
Yep. This is when everyone was still figuring out TV. They were kind of going from the radio shows to radio dramas to TV and to basically using picture.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why you never see a lot of like major like camera movements or whichever, and you probably won't see more than like one or I would say no more than 3 cameras on a show, and that's kind of pushing it at that time.
It was radio televised.
Yeah, it was. I don't think there was any really like shots, like basically different shots for different characters on a show. It was generally only one camera.
Yeah,
because that's pretty much a lot of studios can only afford because they were expensive.
And now, obviously, you see these multi-camera shows nowadays and see them trying to figure it out.
Even like handhelds, like you see a lot of stuff like Battlestar Galactica 24. You see a lot more of those nowadays. Handheld seems to be the thing nowadays instead of just a regular 3-camera sitcom.
Now, as a little bit of a side note, I want you folks to pay attention to the bottom of the... Now, look at that. Look at all the set dressing there. That's authentic stuff.
That is authentic, yeah.
I mean, look at milk. That's how milk used to come.
In bottles.
And as far as I know, in some places, they still do milk deliveries, I hear.
Actually, my old house in St. Catharines, it was right across from Lakeport High School, or what was Eden High School now. My house was, I think, about 30 years old, and they still had that milk, the kind of door that they would put the milk, that you would stick out to put the Milk Maid bottles.
My friend still gets it delivered from Minnesota.
Really?
Man, I wish we had that in Canada. I truly do, because I love milk.
I love milk, too, especially on my cereal.
It's my one weakness, folks. I love 2% milk. I really do.
Ew, I like skim.
Yeah.
You're weird. Anyway,
You're weird.
Moving right along.
You like fatty milk.
I do, but it's so good.
Anyway,
so
now
Marty's looking for the 1955 version of
he's now freaked out because his mother came on to him.
Which is something, actually, that's something that actually has been noticed about these movies. It's never uncomfortable. It's funny.
It is funny. That's right.
It's not, you know.
I mean, you kind of cringe a little bit just because it's like, it's still kind of creepy, but it's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny creepy.
Like, you're never totally turned off by the notion. It's a rather comedic element, which I think it kind of adds to the timelessness of the era and of these movies.
Yep. I love that talk around. Just the sound effects.
I want his hat.
Wow, that's a... I wonder if that's the same dog.
I'm somehow doubting it. I don't think the lifespans for those dogs are very long.
No, it wouldn't be the same dog, obviously, but they kind of have it as such.
Same pseudo character, so to speak.
Yeah. Mind reading. Yeah, that's what he was doing in 1955. Before he got into a time traveling kick.
Which is kind of funny how he gets into the time traveling kick when you really think about it.
True. You invented.
What a great year 1985 really was. But it also had its share of tragedies.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, what happened in 1985?
I think the Challenger blew up.
That was 86.
Are you sure?
January 28th, 1986.
I'm gonna
she trumped you, dude.
I'm going to double check that because I don't think so.
Hey, I trumped you earlier, so your credibility is shot now.
I've got Wikipedia. Shut up.
Yeah, that always works.
Damn right it does.
Both the Challenger and Chernobyl were the year I was born.
That was 86? Chernobyl was 86 too?
Yep.
Oh, wow. So what happened in 85?
I don't know. I'm going to find out.
Look at the year 1985, dude. See what happened.
Look it up right now.
The best person on Earth to be born.
The best person? Oh.
Yeah, she was right. I thought the Challenger blew up. But AM broadcasting finally started in Australia.
In 85?
In 85. And
wow.
Ronald Reagan was reelected for a second term.
Yeah, that's why they mentioned it. Here we go. And speaking of Ronald Reagan, there he is mentioned. The actor who's Vice President Jerry Lewis. I like Jerry Lewis.
By the way, an interesting thing here is that New Coke was released in 1985.
New Coke?
And was the response, everybody hated it. So
yeah, so they went back to classic Coke.
Yep, after 3 months. Just 3.
Nice.
Which proves the market actually does do something.
Now they just need to get rid of Coke Zero.
Yeah. The creepy fog. You always know when something's scary is when you see a fog or creepy music.
Of course.
With branches, yeah, that's going to hide it real well. I'm hiding a car. Oh.
On a side note, ATI Technologies was founded in 1985.
ATI? Really?
ATI.
Cool.
And Next is founded by Steve Jobs after resigning from Apple Computers.
What?
Ooh.
Steve Jobs, he resigned that long ago?
That year.
He was fired, though.
I'm just quoting what Wikipedia tells me.
Yeah, well, Wikipedia's wrong.
Yes,
no,
folks,
I
you heard it here. It's wrong. You hear it wrong.
Wikipedia is evil. Sorry, Jim Wales.
Wow. And Haley Duff was born this year.
In 85?
In 85.
Wow, I'm older than Haley Duff.
Just all sorts of random trivia that's coming out here. So now Marty has figured out how to hook his camcorder up to the TV
Now,
in 1955.
how the heck could he do that?
In theory, it should be RF, because this would be before AV
That's true.
components.
That's true, because that was pretty much the only way to be able to connect a TV to anything was through
Yeah.
RF.
And because camcorder technology had more or less been relatively new at this time.
It was new, but still using old technology. Consumer tech, yeah.
Yeah, consumer handhelds at this time were still relatively new.
Yeah. We have a guest.
We do have a guest. We are joined by Craig Aikenson, who decided to sneak in.
Say hi, Craig.
Come on, louder than that. So yeah, that is Craig.
Hey, you guys.
Yep, that's the kind of professionalism we have around here. Actually, Craig was our first technical director for when we first ran This Week in Geek on January 31st, was it?
Yep.
Yep, that was the date of our first show.
Yep.
So yeah, he's in here, which I don't need
Great
to...
Scott! I love that.
Oh, I love that line too.
There's a lot of great sayings in this movie. Great Scott, heavy.
Has something affected the
Oh,
gravity?
1.21 gigawatts. Okay, I have to talk about this one. Okay, so the reason why they say gigawatts in the movie, because it's supposed to be gigawatts, but Robert Zemeckis, and I think one of the writers, went to a scientific seminar, and the scientist that was giving the seminar said gigawatts. And that's when gigawatts was born.
Exactly, hence the origin thereof.
Yep. I got a girl.
And that's Craig.
Craig just mentioned that he wasn't even born then.
So once again, I get to be the old one here. That's okay,
Not
though.
that old. Like
Yeah,
I said,
thanks.
you're 2 years older than me.
And
Not that much.
Others would beg to differ.
Uh-huh,
It's simply just because of experience. But that's okay. Professionalism going out the window. Now, there's that piece of paper that I was mentioning at the beginning, where they were asking, Doc was saying, where are you going to find that much power?
He said the only way to be able to do it is from a bolt of lightning. It's kind of weird that they would say it's exact time when it actually happens, because
Because it froze the clock.
Yeah, but there's no second hands on the clock. How would they know when it actually hits?
Well, I guess they got a 60-second window of air.
Well, not really, because if you think about it, if DeLorean is going at precisely at that moment, and it has to hit it when lightning strikes, they would never be able to determine exactly when the lightning would actually hit the tower.
Yeah.
Unless they were able to figure out exactly just from the gears as far as how long, what seconds it takes. But the thing is, in the movie, we don't know that.
Exactly.
What do you think, Leslie?
I've never given it really much thought.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. That's true, though, now that you think about it.
I think about these things, folks, for your benefit.
Exactly. Like I said, that's part of the fun. We love to take apart movies from this kind of an angle because it adds more to the experience, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we added a certain level of depth to Superman 2.
Oh, heck yes. His head's erased. He had a brother?
Now, this is what I was mentioning about the whole fragile time theory I mentioned earlier in this commentary, how time is starting to change due to subtle changes.
Yeah, just because now Marty's back in time, it's changed the course of history, which basically almost to the point where he doesn't exist anymore. But we'll learn later on that it was because it was supposedly George and Lorraine McFly did not get together, or supposedly wasn't going to get together until Marty brought them together. But that's time travel for you. You're just being real mature. Yeah, back then, that's when dorks were dorks.
Yeah, this
and
is
not
back...
cool like us.
Exactly. This is before nerds learned how to fight back.
Yeah, exactly. Strickland never having any hair. No. Uh-oh.
So Marty's starting to realize the events he set in motion.
Dum dum dum.
Suddenly realizing why his mom hit on him.
Son plus mother equals incest.
We're not going to say that what Craig just said.
Exactly. In fact, we have to keep this broadcast quality, so we can't say, things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway,
Continue
sorry,
on.
we're watching the movie. We love this movie.
We do. Now, just going on what Craig pseudo said, which you likely didn't hear, this is something that's obviously going to come up in the back of your mind, which is why I was mentioning why this uncomfortable subject never seems that uncomfortable in the course of this movie, just because of the way that's directed and it's portrayed.
Yeah, and it's the whole thing of incest.
Yeah, it's innocent, but it's funny. It's kind of like the whole Luke and Leia sort of thing.
Exactly, yeah, you never knew that they were brother and sister until third movie. Sorry if you never actually saw it.
But in this, you get that right away. I mean, you immediately know his mom's hitting on him.
Yep.
But you kind of get it like, oh, God, what's going to happen? Mom likes the son.
Yep.
And it's kind of funny because Marty's like, oh, geez.
Futurama actually kind of did a funny parody about that.
I was unaware.
Where Fry is his own grandfather.
Oh, God.
There's a whole song written about that. I'm my own grandpa.
I'm my own grandpa?
Yeah.
Who sings it?
Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson sings about that?
Yeah.
He's his own
The guy that
grandpa.
marries his stepmom.
Wow.
Passes
He's
away.
his own grandpa.
See, I was kind of hoping it would be a Willie Nelson song about time travel.
Yeah, I was
That's-
kind of hoping
but, you know,
too.
that's hoping for just a little too much, I guess.
Yeah.
That's a little bit out there for Willie Nelson.
Yeah, but still, even still, marrying his stepmom,
Yeah.
it's kind of creepy.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. George, buddy. Yeah, this is funny. Sorry, folks, we're just engrossed in the movie.
So this is Crispin Glover's awkwardness, and you see, this kind of hints towards future events. Cal.
He's writing science fiction stories.
He's writing science fiction stories for which he doesn't want to show anybody because he's afraid nobody will like his writing, because at this point he hasn't gotten the confidence from talking to his mom.
Yeah, which does eventually change the future because he gets his book published.
Exactly.
So, and we're not giving away any, like, we're not afraid to give spoilers because obviously we're assuming that you've seen the movie already.
Exactly. Like we are going to play it under the pretense you've seen this movie, you've loved this movie for years, and we're just here to give our 2 cents on it.
Yeah, we definitely recommend obviously seeing the movie beforehand and have it, or at least, but I mean, we're, like I said, that's why we're doing a lot of these movies that a lot of people we assume have already seen.
Now, ultimately, I think we should probably put a disclaimer at the beginning of every commentary. By the way, if you haven't seen this, turn this off.
I think I did for the first one. I can't remember if I did or not.
No, we didn't. I had to mention that about 12 minutes in.
I'll make sure I mention it for when I add the intros.
And just because, ugh. Anyway,
Ugh!
if you go back and listen to the Superman 2 DVD commentary, you hear us talk about ugh.
Ugh.
And let me see what other famous words came out of that. I'm
not a carrot, Dad.
yeah. So moving right along, now we get to see the beginnings of what 1955 sexual harassment might look like.
Yeah. Not that kind of girl.
Now, it's kind of funny, because back in the 50s,
definitely
obviously,
that kinda
this
girl.
was not the social norm.
That's
I
true.
mean, if you look at the way people date today compared to now, it's radically different. And even,
Especially around your group.
yeah, exactly. Shut up. So,
What?
shut up.
Did I miss something?
Around our group, let's just say we have our own little initiation ritual. We're going to drop it at that.
Oh,
And look
okay.
at the way people used to get bullied back in the 50s.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't. I mean, nowadays you have to worry about someone pulling a weapon on you.
Yeah.
In the 50s, you punched somebody in the head, or they punched you,
And that's what you're afraid of.
yeah, and that was it. You were afraid of
Of
someone
getting hit
calling
in
you
the
a
head.
wuss or a chicken.
That's right.
Nowadays, you got a lot more to worry about. Like I said, you can see how history has evolved in 50-something years.
I know, eh?
I mean, to me, our parents had it easy. And in fact, I think if we were to go back in time, specifically us, sure, we would be nerds, but we would know enough to take control.
Yeah.
And
I don't. I mean, it makes us kind of wonder if that's maybe the modern mentality that we'd have that, hey, we can be more confident, or whether or not, because you got to think, a lot of stuff that we know now, obviously they did not know in the 50s.
Yeah.
And so they would have probably accepted it's more social issues than anything, because nowadays we can kind of accept that geeks are being cool.
Exactly.
Geeks are cool, and we're confident in that. We're confident in being a geek. But back then, the social mentality was if you were a dork or a geek or a nerd, you were outcast, and you never had the confidence to do anything about it. So even if we were back in that time and we knew what we know now, we probably would be more confident. But if we were back then without knowing what we know now, then
here's a great scene, folks.
Oh yes,
he's got Van Halen in a Sony Walkman.
Yep, Sony Walkman.
He's got his radiation suit on.
This is great. Wow, that's Van Halen?
That is. I'm not sure if that's accurate, though.
My first response would probably be to take the headphones off.
Darth Vader. Vulcan! I love that. Darth Vader from the planet Vulcan! It's awesome. Gotta love the Star Trek and Star Wars references.
Absolutely.
Because you gotta remember, in 1955, there was no Star Wars or Star Trek. Star Trek was still about a good 10 years off. No, 13 years off, and Star Wars, about 20.
Yeah, and that's another thing Craig just actually kind of showed from the peanut gallery. Look at how cheap gas is. Look at how cheap the pop was back in those days.
I know.
With glass bottles. Now, when I was a
quarter.
kid growing up in Shaw Lake, we still had glass bottoms.
Glass bottoms, yes. We had glass bottoms, so we had to sit very fragilely on a chair. Otherwise, it would break.
Email feedback at ThisWeekInGeek.net.
Hey, you said it, not me.
But yeah, I mean, look at the way that is now. In fact, there are very few places you can still get glass bottles. I know in PEI in Canada, everything on the island for pop is glass.
Yeah, and they also had bottle openers then.
Yeah,
and in the vending machines.
Now you can still buy novelty Cokes that are still glass.
Yep.
Or there's Coke Black now, which I must say is utterly gross.
Yeah, I don't like any of the new flavors of Coke, like vanilla Coke or.
See, I liked that.
I don't like it. I
It's
don't
all about
stand.
Coke Classic.
I like Coke Classic. That's good.
Now I want a vanilla Coke. Or a cherry Coke. I'm craving now. Thanks, man.
No problem, dude. That's what I'm here for.
Admittedly. Now, you see, I would go walk over and do this, but we're under an extreme cold alert tonight, and just no.
No.
You see,
milk, chocolate.
I wish we still had places like this.
They're basically, what do they call it, soda shops?
Yeah, soda shops, or like, they were the 1950s diner that you could hang out in, which I guess would be often parodied when you look at Saved by the Bell's The Max. That would be the updated version of this.
You can
Now,
go to classic cafes, though.
Yeah, there's classic cafes. Actually, there is a 1950s style diner in St. Catharines called Wimpy's Diner.
But is it prohibitively expensive to hang out in?
No, actually.
No.
Well, then I think we should do that.
Wimpy's Burgers, obviously, if everyone may not know the character Wimpy from Popeye, Wimpy loves burgers, and so there's this chain of it's actually a franchise of burger joints in Canada, or at least in Ontario, called Wimpy's Diner, and the burgers there are freaking huge, or at least I think 12 ounces.
Yeah, they were pretty big the last time I went. Now I went there with a girlfriend of mine years ago in Guelph.
Yeah, I've been to several in Ontario. The best one I still find is in St. Catharines. So we'll definitely have to go there.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, they still have those, those kind of small mini jukeboxes on this at each booth.
Yeah.
Some of them actually do work, and some of them don't. That's the only thing. I think they turned it off or whatever. But anyway, it's still cool, 50s nostalgic diner.
And then once again, back to the whole 1950s bullying.
Yep.
That's when you could get away with punching somebody and running, which is kind of funny.
Yes, and apparently the invention of skateboards. Right here.
So he took what I guess would be like a soapbox scooter and modified it into a pseudo skateboard. Mind you, with no trucks or bearings.
I'll have to apologize, folks. I have hiccups right now, so if you don't hear me for a little bit, that's why.
Once again, he hooks onto the back of the truck and tries to sketch.
Which is obviously unknown at that time.
Yep. Kicking up sparks. Now, if someone skateboards trucks were to spark like that, I'd be impressed.
It's a board with wheels.
Now there's another classic 1950s quote. He's a dream.
Oh, yes.
Man,
You
and
don't
now
hear
that's evolved into
What?
he's
You don't hear
hot.
that?
No.
I
It's a
did.
dream.
He's a dream.
I don't hear it anymore. I hear it as jokingly referenced.
But yeah, you'll notice stuff like this just isn't like when did the lexicon change? I guess that's what I'd like
Well,
to know.
it seems to keep changing every decade. I mean, the 50s was like, isn't he a dream? That Cheen gear, that's nifty. And the 60s was like, obviously like the hippie revolution and all that stuff. So that changed to like, that's groovy or that's, I don't know.
And then which
That's-
became rad, radical, and whatnot.
Yeah, and then there was the 70s with the disco era.
And I think cool has always been universal. Cool has always
Yeah.
continued on.
That's true.
Now they're covered in a bunch of horse crap.
Yep, and if you notice, wait, you'll see the name of the horse manure, D. Jones. That actually, if you obviously know, like there's in this movie, you'll see a lot of references that are made in Back to the Future 2 and 3 that are kind of, they always like to have a throwback as different kind of conventions. And D. Jones manure is definitely one of them.
Exactly.
Wow.
That's a look of determination.
That
That's
is.
a look at determination and her saying, I want him.
Does it almost not seem easier to, in a weird kind of way, to date people back in the 50s? Do you think they looked more at your personality back then as opposed to now, do you think?
Well, I mean, you still had the whole jocks and cheerleaders kind of
I
deal.
think if they look more at personality than looks, she'd be going for George McFly.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's very true.
True. Because, well, I mean, Marty seemed cool. I guess that's the
Marty's
whole thing.
got that appeal.
Yeah, it's got that popular, cool kid appeal.
So now they're building a lightning rod to the top of the DeLorean
Yep.
to capture the lightning bolt, which will funnel the energy.
I love this. I love this at every single time that Doc Brown has to try to demonstrate of what's gonna happen. He always has to make city models or some sort of model of anything. And I love how much detail he puts into these models just to be able to demonstrate what's gonna happen for only a few seconds.
It's the attention to detail on these sets that really makes these movies, I wouldn't say so much more believable, but makes the world seem a little more real and perhaps almost a little more fantastic at the same time.
That's true.
If you get my meaning there.
That's true. Another 1.21 gigawatts.
I'm going to notice that there's no seconds from now on.
There's no seconds.
There's no seconds to the time given.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
it's at that exact moment.
Yeah, maybe. Ha! Electrical charge. I just love the detail that goes into these things. It's so great. And
You know what's awesome? Even the clock tower is accurate.
wow. And the car catches on fire.
Which technically it does.
That's true. Okay, lose a pile of rags like that, and it engulfs in flames like that. I don't know.
No,
Now that's an old school fire extinguisher, baby.
that's why they tell you don't leave oily rags just laying around. Actually, do you guys remember that back in the 80s they always used to tell us that sort of stuff?
Really?
Yeah, it was always like PSAs and for kids don't leave rags sitting around, or if you see rags, move them.
My earliest memory is December of '89.
December of '89. What happened in December '89?
My brother was born.
Oh.
Seeing Transformers on TV for the first time.
89. How old was I?
My first memory of
I was
1989 was
6.
Batman.
Batman?
Yeah, Batman came out in 1989. Tim Burton.
Tim Burton's Batman? No,
Yeah.
was that 88 or 89?
89.
Was it 89? Okay.
Or do I have to double check my dates again?
No, I'll trust you on this one.
You better. Punk.
I don't know. I seem to remember 88, but that's just me.
Just because you're you.
Yes.
There are so many jokes here, folks, we could make, but we're not going to.
No.
You'll just have to tune into the show for that.
That is true. Man, it seems like almost forever that we haven't done a show, and yet we did one exactly almost a week ago.
Yeah, actually, we've recorded 3 during our break, technically.
Did we?
Yeah.
We recorded our episode 4. We recorded our DVD commentary.
And PodCamp.
And PodCamp, that's right.
3 episodes in a week, folks. This is the kind of dedication that we pump at this show. So, like I said,
you better like us and spread the word. I mean, we're always looking to spread the word about our show to obviously a broader audience. So if you have send it. If you like the show, send it to your friends, send it to your family.
Actually,
send it to just any. And if you have any suggestions of where we can be able to kind of promote our show, or at least another directory that we're not on, email us at feedback@thisweekingeek.net, and I'll make sure I get us on, me being the webmaster and all.
Yeah. Actually, it was kind of funny. I was listening on our Facebook, actually. A guy had found me we went to high school together.
Really?
He now listens to our show podcasted.
Awesome.
When he drives to work.
Awesome. I like that.
So we've got a fairly large
What's his name?
podcasting. Mike Tweedy.
Hi, Mike Tweedy. If you're listening to this, hi from Snowball. Say hi, Leslie.
Hi.
Hi to Mike Tweedy from Owen Sound.
He's from Owen Sound?
He is from Owen Sound.
Hi from Owen Sound.
That's right. Which is my old stomping grounds.
It's my current stomping ground.
It's my old stomping grounds of only 2 years, and thank God. What did Craig just tell you?
That it's too far for him, Owen Sound. But Craig has provided generously a Powerade for me. Because we have quotas to maintain. If you know what I'm talking about, you're awesome.
Quotas to maintain?
I'm not awesome.
Apparently I'm not awesome either, because we don't...
Reloaded, the commercials, Powerade.
I don't remember the commercials. I never saw the commercials for...
No?
They're on the DVD. But not the Ultimate Box Set.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. Either way.
Which DVD? Which
Reloaded.
Reloaded?
Do you remember The Agent?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I remember now.
But we are getting off topic here. Back to the Future. In fact, I think we sent most of this fan commentary just kind of arguing back and forth.
No, it's just us talking about stuff and just mainly stuff in general about the 50s and 80s and stuff like that. And that's okay. I mean, not every DVD commentary is going to be obviously fact-based.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Superman 2 was, just because it was a lot of information to give.
Yeah.
But I mean, still, there's a lot of trivia involved with this. With this movie, and if you go to IMDb, you can get a lot of trivia on it.
Or when you buy this DVD from Amazon.ca, which we're going to link to on our website.
Yep, we will. The Ultimate DVD box, or the 3 DVD box set.
And we do recommend just listen to the commentary, because you're going to pick up on a lot of stuff. Obviously, we didn't, but we're giving it to you as a fan perspective.
Well, I wouldn't say obviously we didn't. It's just that we just never had enough time.
Yeah, and that's the problem. There's just never enough time, which is why we need their time machine.
Exactly.
See, I don't know what I'd do if I had the power of a time machine.
Yeah.
Knowing what I know from this movie, simply based on the fact one mistake, and the future changes.
Now, this is something that I probably should have mentioned earlier. Or at least there was another fact that I had. When Lorraine actually comes to Doc Brown's garage and meets Doc Brown for the first time, that's the only interaction that they ever have in the entire movie, and they barely speak to each other. And what's funny about that is that Christopher Lloyd and Leah Thompson actually have been in 5 movies previously together.
That's funny.
That is funny. Christopher Lloyd, man, I like that guy.
And you don't see him in a lot nowadays.
No, not really. I'm trying to even remember a lot of other movies that he was in. He was in Clue.
And now look at the pen he's using. Calligraphy.
That's true.
What a skill to have.
I know, eh?
I remember when I was in grade school. I don't know if they still do this.
Like inkwells?
Yeah, like they would offer calligraphy.
We had in our elementary school, we had inkwell slots in our holes in our desks, but we never actually had to use them. We never actually they just had the holes. I always wondered what the heck those were for. I thought they were just pencil holders.
I used them for drinks.
That's actually a really good idea, too.
That's right. What can I say? This fat kid has to pioneer some really cool tech. I call them drink holders. Yeah. Actually, Craig just brought up a really good point. Look at the cop.
What about the cop?
Look at the way he's dressed. He's not wearing obvious body armor.
True. Yeah. There was probably... When was bulletproof vest invented?
I'm not sure. I mean...
Definitely not 1955.
Yeah. I mean, this is when street crime consisted of people, drag racing, which I guess is making a comeback.
Yeah,
more or
and
less.
Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, like I said, I think that'll be one of the movies that will be remembered way in the future.
Can you
Fast and the
imagine a
Furious,
school
really?
dance?
I do. I think it's iconic of this time period.
True. At least with, like, pimping out cars and stuff like that.
Yeah, it shows what the culture was. Much like Back to the Future showcases an idealized 1985 and a romanticized 1955.
Actually, no, I should probably mention, I may or may not have a link in the show notes for this, but if you can search Google for it, there actually is a video out there where they took a lot of scenes that that basically collide from all three movies, or actually technically both Back to the Future 1 and 2, and they kind of take it and kind of see if everything lines up.
Do they?
And, yeah, actually, I've watched the whole thing. It's like about 15 minutes, and it actually is this part right here, because that's where Marty comes back in time in Back to the Future 2, and a lot of this actually does line up.
Yeah. So now Marty's taking his mom to prom now.
Well, no, it's Enchantment Under the Sea Dance.
Close enough,
It's a
whatever.
new take on taking your cousin to the dance.
Oh, God.
I love the line that she says later. It's like, I'm kissing my brother. Yeah, a little bit more creepier than that. I'm sorry.
You see, this is back when drinking was sort of still kind of taboo.
And smoking.
And smoking.
I love the spit take. You sound like... Wow. That's ironic.
Actually, yes, he's right. Correct.
Cigarettes were worse? Is that what he said? Cigarettes were worse?
Cigarettes were a lot worse back in the
That's right, because they didn't have the filters on cigarettes as they did.
Absolutely.
Or
You
as
were
they do now.
smoking pure death.
So
Obviously,
that's why we see a lot of this.
Now, obviously, we don't endorse smoking here at This Week in Geek, so
No.
don't
I mean,
smoke.
if you do-
it sucks.
If you do,
Stop.
sorry, quit.
It's a good idea. Dying is a bad...
You know what? Smoking is actually the only thing that every time you start, people always ask, when are you going to quit?
Yeah, I guess that's very
It's
true.
the only addiction that everyone seems to ask, when are you going to quit?
I love my
She's
friend
gonna follow
Craig.
to the dress.
Yeah, actually, yes, this could be a very
That's a very revealing.
dress for the
Yeah.
1950s.
It would basically be considered, I don't know,
A wardrobe malfunction. I'm waiting
I wouldn't
for
say
one.
I wouldn't say wardrobe malfunction. I would say more along the lines of like a burlesque dancer nowadays.
Yeah.
I think it's Janet Jackson waiting to happen.
Oh, God.
Ooh, and the kiss scene. See, it's not as creepy now that you know the fact that they're actually only 10 days. There's only 10 days age difference between the two of them. But in the movie, the fact that
It's the look on her face
Yeah.
that sells it. This is wrong and weird.
It's like I kiss you. It's like I'm kissing my brother. Dum dum dum. Oh, jeez.
And now Biff is back
Drunk.
to knock the crap out of quote-unquote Calvin Klein.
Drunk.
Drunk.
Drunk. Yeah, we never actually made a reference to the Calvin Klein
No, we
underwear
didn't.
thing.
I forget what we were arguing about at that point.
I can't remember either.
We'll go back to this commentary and find out later. Or you will if you really
You
want
will,
to know the
yeah.
answer
yeah.
to this.
But supposedly, actually, in the French version of Back to the Future, it was someone different. It wasn't Calvin Klein. It was like Pierre or something.
Actually, that's another thing Craig actually just mentioned to me. Biff says you caused $300 damage to my car. That's the cost of an average car part these days.
Yeah, that's that's
Yeah,
like
labor.
$300 on a car. At that point, was like almost replacing like an entire body of a car. Beat it, spook.
I have no idea what kind of term that means.
We call it spook pecker wood.
When the band gets
Wow.
its revenge.
And now the band is, reefer addicts. See, look at
For
that.
addicts, yeah.
It's funny what they call stuff nowadays.
Yep. Now, coming up has to be my favorite part in the entire movie is the Johnny B. Good sequence.
Ah, yes.
I love that song. That was the first time I heard that song was in this movie, and I love it. It actually started my whole getting into classic rock. I love classic rock from like the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and 50s, 60s, and 70s.
I think this is actually my favorite part.
Yep.
Oh yes, when the nerds get revenge. Yeah, this actually gave me a lot of confidence when I was a kid too, because I was considered the nerd. I was a loner when I was a kid.
Truthfully, the book or inspiration that got me to get comics, I can't remember what it was called totally, but it was something. I was a 5th grade karate master or something like that, and that's actually what made me go into martial arts. Obviously, I've slipped a little bit in the years, but I got the orange belt.
Cool.
So I know what I'm doing.
See, when I was a kid, I have to say, I always kind of wished that something like this would happen to me, just so I could be able to have that ultimate feeling of punching a bully out. Even though obviously violence is definitely not the good way to go against a bully if you're in the younger generation than younger than us, but it's the whole satisfying feeling that I always wanted to receive of punching somebody out that was extremely mean, and then obviously getting the girl in the end.
You see, I had an experience like this,
Really?
and my mom always told me not to take any crap. And I'm not endorsing violence, but what I am endorsing is stand up for yourself.
Oh yeah, but the thing is, I was always scared to do that when I was a kid.
But pick and choose your battles.
Yeah, I guess.
Because
I never really got into fights when I was a kid.
I was a bit of a scrapper when I was younger.
I think a boy punched me in the face in kindergarten.
You probably deserved it.
I think
I
he
sent
broke
him
my
from the
glasses.
future.
Yeah.
Because I knew one day you'd tick me off.
Go punch that girl right there.
You knew that 15 years later you'd run into me.
Absolutely. And this is where George McFly and more or less her fall in love. It was that look on her face.
It was that moment, and that's what ultimately changed the future for them. George McFly.
And yet the future's still refusing to change.
No. I love Doc Brown in this.
If I had the 24 sound effect, I'd probably play it right now. The clock is ticking.
That's right. That's right. It's her cousin, Marvin Berry. That'll come up later, folks. How convenient. The guitar playing.
He's playing bass, isn't he?
No, it's guitar.
That's a guitar.
It's electric guitar.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I just saw the 3 kind of knobs on top.
Makes you kind of wonder, does Michael J. Fox actually know how to play guitar?
Not that I've read in his bio, but I was just kind of skimming over it, so I'm not sure. So if you know anything, folks, please feel free to email us and correct any errors that we have made.
Yeah.
We will publish retractions on the show.
Or leave comments on our on the post on our website at ThisWeekInGeek.net. So this is where now Marty McFly does not remember how to be able to play guitar because he's starting to erase.
Starting to lose his
history.
existence.
Yep. This is where he starts to get all creepy and disappearing and invisible. Okay, that guy's just weird. It's like, who would laugh like that just because he's dancing with a girl?
You see, this would never happen.
What, the
Nowadays?
disappearing or the...
I can't see a girl taking that these days.
Yeah, nowadays, but then it's like... Well, they're kind of
I've met some girls I'm pretty sure that could kick my ass. My best friend Ashley being one of them.
Leslie, could you kick Mike's ass?
Totally. I've demonstrated a few times.
Email us at feedback@thisweekingeek.net if you can kick my ass. Get a prize.
Mike
Probably
Tyson
not.
Server.
Ah, see? I love the song Earth Angel. I wonder if that was actually made for the movie or if it was
Oh, this is an old song.
There actually was a song Earth Angel? Huh.
Yeah, this song's been around for years.
I never knew this. I always thought it was just for this movie.
Yeah. So obviously this predates that.
Cool.
Yeah, Craig was just mentioning this song was played at his parents' prom, so... Yeah, and they're 50. They old.
All right, now this is my favorite part. Kicking into Johnny Be Good. This is an oldie, where he comes from. How long we got for time, dude?
We have been talking for an hour and 29 minutes.
Cool. Movie's actually almost done.
Yeah, we're almost getting done, folks. But obviously we're going to do more DVD commentaries as time allows.
Of course. Wait. It's an oldie where I come from. Oh, the guitar, I love it in this song. It's so awesome.
See, hopefully I will learn how to play guitar, and I'd like to play stuff like this.
I would love that. I just have no rhythm. I am not musically inclined whatsoever.
I kick ass at Guitar Hero like you wouldn't believe.
I'm an expert bass clarinet player.
Wow. My brother took all the musical talent in my family.
But I can also play baritone. That's my thing.
Johnny Be Good. Of course, Michael J. Fox does not sound like this. He's sounding like Chuck Berry. Go, Johnny, go, go. I just realized we don't talk a whole lot in this DVD commentary.
No, because we're just trying to give people a sense that, I don't know.
We're here for you.
We're here for you.
But we want you to enjoy the movie, too, at least.
Exactly.
And enjoy it with us. Sorry that we're talking.
Just don't turn us off, please.
Yes. Oh, we lost him.
Now, it'd be really strange if someone was listening to this on their iPod.
I totally would while watching the movie.
Would you listen to this while driving, though?
Maybe. If you've seen the movie enough times and you know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, I guess.
And you can kind of somewhat hear it through the mics. It's not, it's not loud, but it's not loud.
Now, we purposely turned down the sound so you can purposely hear us.
Yeah.
But loud enough so
you
our
probably
voices
could
are
hear
coming
it.
through.
You probably could hear this picking up in the background.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And this is now where he starts getting to 1980s,
Yep,
just weird, funky
kinda
guitar
kinda
riffs.
Kind of the Van Halen, the, what else? The Peter Townsend and Angus Harris when he kicks the thing. The Jimi Hendrix.
Yep, and he keeps going and going. And he's now weird. Because I've never seen anyone basically slither on the floor while playing guitar. Kicks over the amp. Yeah, I don't think Michael J. Fox knows how to do that. He's not actually even hitting the right notes.
Because you know. Do you?
I do.
Really?
I don't know.
We should totally start a band.
The Geek Off.
It'd be awesome.
But your kids are going to love it.
We'll start a Guitar Hero band. We'll be exclusively
Yes! A Guitar Hero band.
I'm an expert air guitar man. I rock.
You rock at anything you don't have to hear.
Exactly.
Wow. She just shot you down, dude.
She totally did. And for that, I'm going to send that kid back in time to punch
See,
you
you
in
probably
the
notice
face.
Leslie doesn't say much in here, but what she says,
It speaks
comedy
volumes.
It's zingers. Like great one-liners.
I'm going to have to edit her out of the commentary at some point. So I'll be doing this in GarageBand all night. I'm
No.
totally kidding.
Yeah, he's going to do it to me.
Try as you might, you can't edit me out.
No, but I can erase you from history, as this movie has taught me. I'll do some real-time editing.
Because movies are true.
If I see you with the
Absolutely.
DeLorean, I'll run.
Yeah, you better, man.
I swear there's a predator out there out to get me.
Totally, man. Totally.
And Superman is my dad.
My dad's Optimus Prime, man.
I am Superboy.
And Craig just mentioned his dad is the Master Chief from Halo.
Oh, okay, yeah, he's my step-uncle.
I'm trying to think who my step-uncle would be in geekdom. I'll go for the Green Lantern.
Green
And Optimus
Lantern?
Prime. I'm good.
I don't know who it would be for me.
Yeah, Doc Brown.
Doc Brown. Yeah,
wanna
he's
be related.
he's the crazy eccentric who lives in my basement. That's Doc Brown. Damn. The double dams.
So Marty's finally getting ready to go back to the future.
Hence the name of the movie. That zoot suit. Was that actually a zoot suit?
I don't think so, but I like the. Yeah.
Speaking of zoot suits, though, Christopher Lloyd was actually in a movie. It was a remake of an old 70s movie, I think, and he played the suit, I think. I've never seen a movie. I don't know. It was something about a zoot suit. And I think Christopher Lloyd actually played basically it was like a talking suit. I think it was like a one-piece silver thing. I don't know.
Man, you know some weird stuff, dude.
I do. I have weird knowledge in my head. And, yeah, a lot of it's movie trivia. So, that's just me.
Yes, ladies, he's single. Hi.
Do you have to mention that every podcast?
Dude, I'm trying to pimp you out.
Yeah, now you just make me sound desperate.
He's not desperate. You're very selective.
Selective?
They have to understand the 1.21 gigawatts reference. Absolutely.
Yeah, that is a criterion in order to be able to for me to date you. Is as long as you know the gigawatts reference.
So if you listen to all of these, you'll have a complete dating profile. That's why I'm doing these conversations. I'm giving you a dating profile.
Wow.
So please
As a
log on to
freaking
ThisWeekInGeek.net.
You should just do it back to him.
I should.
Huh? What? Do back to what? I'm
Get
lost.
Mike back.
Yeah, I shouldn't I?
Good luck,
I'm
pal.
just too much of a nice guy to do that.
I love you, man.
I love you too.
That's why we're best friends.
Yeah.
And he doesn't suck. And folks, if you know me in real life, you know that's extremely high praise coming from me. if I can look you in the face blankly.
That's his scale of whether he likes someone is that I don't suck is like high praise.
Absolutely. Or like,
There's
you're
other-
lame.
No, you're lame. That's kind of moderate dislike.
Exactly.
There is way further comments that Mike could make.
Oh, exactly. If you know me in real life, folks, you know what kind of things I say.
Yes.
Entertaining a mile a minute, man.
Sometimes you need a thesaurus to figure them out.
Exactly. I'm a walking pop culture dictionary of weirdness. It's true.
Okay, here's a quick question for you.
Yeah.
What did he do with the letter? He ripped it up, but where did he put it?
Ooh, paradox or continuity error. You be the judge.
Yeah. Also, another thing of trivia. Apparently, the wind machine that they used for this was. I don't think it was a jet engine, but that was what it was supposed to be described as like a plane engine kind of fan. And the dialogue that Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd had to be re-recorded for that because of the wind machine was too loud to be able to pick up any dialogue. So that's another trivia bit for you. You're not saying much this commentary, Mike.
I'm just kind of watching this, realizing how dangerous this actually truly would be.
What, climbing up on top of a clock tower?
Yeah, climbing on top of the clock
wouldn't do
tower
it?
and then potentially getting struck by lightning.
Don't tell me you wouldn't do it.
You see, I only take risks that are extremely stupid, and at least I have a good chance of surviving. Like swimming with sharks and skydiving.
Or sticking a vacuum to your forehead.
Not so much.
Sticking a vacuum to your forehead. I seen the picture of that now, by the way.
You have?
Yes.
Excellent.
And the other picture, what'd you do?
Oh, boy.
No, it's not that dirty.
Oh, boy, folks. Anyway, so Doc has got the power connector cable to hook up to the piece of wire that's right across the street.
By the way,
And-
quick trivia though.
Quick
Okay,
trivia?
you know when that little kind of indent that Doc makes when he slips and falls off the clock tower.
Yeah.
If you see it later, or if you see the clock tower, you actually do see that indent.
I was unaware of that.
Yeah. I did. That's something I actually watched and found out for myself. I didn't actually look it up on anywhere. So
That's
go
cool.
me.
Unlike last time where you were taking credit for your brother's discovery of Cliff Clavin in Superman 2.
It wasn't. Oh yes, the Cheers guy, John Ratzenberger.
Whoa, way to take credit for your brother's work.
Hey, he asked the question. Is that guy from Cheers? I looked it up, and yes. So I do have some sort of credit to that.
That's the official retraction. We've hidden 1 hour and 38 minutes into this DVD commentary.
You'll never hear
Email us for a special prize.
No.
It's kind of like the Marvel No prize.
You don't realize we haven't even pimped out our contest lately?
Yeah, but then again, we don't know
We'll do
when
that on
you're.
the show.
Yeah, we're going to do that on the show because we don't know when you're actually going to listen to this, folks.
Or if we actually are.
Yeah, like this is being recorded. It's March 6, 2007.
Yep.
And we're recording this. It's about 9 at night. Like I said, we should be studying for our film and radio midterms, but we're
tomorrow.
not. Tomorrow.
But we're here for you, folks.
We are.
And we have Pierce doing our work for us.
We love that kid so much. So
Yeah, we do.
We do. We truly do. And I love Craig for bringing me a Powerade. It was worth it.
Craig, how come you didn't give me anything?
Because of your inner Dutch.
Yeah.
Because you're an inner Dutch person.
We're an inner Dutch person.
Which is a total inside joke, folks. If you were there when we recorded our promo several weeks ago.
Eric Reinhardt.
With Eric Reinhardt.
That kid is great.
He hosts a show on CRNC 90.1, the new Heat FM, called Jukebox Explosion.
We do a lot of friends that are on the radio.
We do. And this kid does a really good show. He does 50s, 60s, and 80s music, and 70s. And he gave us the idea.
You skipped a decade.
Skipped over the 70s.
Oh, the 70s don't exist.
70s didn't even happen. There was basically two 60s and went right onto the 80s.
That's right.
That's a line from somewhere. If you can figure out what that was, email us.
So he gives us this idea to do merchandise. Merchandising. That's where all the money's made.
Merchandising.
So we will have to see
Spaceballs
those.
of flamethrower.
That's what we need. This week in Geek the rocket launcher.
Yes. Someone
This
could
week in
make
Geek
that.
frag grenades.
If someone could make that, dude, you'd be our heroes.
So yeah, so we're kind of hoping to have some geek merch out there. We'll see with our friends at cafepress.com and things like that.
Or if we get another deal to make our merch for us.
Yeah, we'll definitely see what we can offer you guys.
Exactly. Because that's what we're here for. Yeah, like that'll actually happen in real life. The power cable would tear his pants and actually get caught in his pants.
He's trying to get the car powered up so he can go back to the future, but the car's not starting.
That plutonium is horrible stuff.
Yep.
That's just kind of fun. I was watching Weird Al's UHF over the weekend. I now know how to make plutonium from household items. What you do
That's dangerous.
is you...
No, we're not going to give ideas to the audience.
All right, if this works, I'll be surprised. What you need is a large bowl of strawberry jello, a car battery, and one egg beater. I want you to preheat your microwave to 8,000 degrees.
Okay, yeah. Now
Put all 3 items into the microwave for 12 minutes and leave your house for several hours. If this works, folks, let us know.
All right, that's gone beyond the realm of probability.
We don't endorse you putting metal into the microwave, I might
I
add,
don't
or a car
recommend
battery.
Preheating it to 8,000 degrees.
Yeah, if you can get your microwave up to 8,000 degrees,
You are Doc Brown.
I'd love to see your bill. Your power bill. I really would.
Probably the power meter's like going nutso.
Oh, he's getting ready to happen.
Here comes the lightning bolt. And does he make it? Does he make it? Does he make it? We don't know.
Oh,
he's on
car's
his way.
kicking.
Car's kicking in. Oh yeah, this is where he has to connect the cable again.
Yep.
Yeah, and then he gets electrocuted with a lightning bolt.
People survive,
Yeah.
but 9 times out of 10,
There's a little bit of damage.
or they're soaked, so their clothes actually fly off them. Their clothes literally burn off.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. It's cool. I actually read about this somewhere.
Wow.
I think I read it in National Geographic or something. I'm not sure, though. Lightning bolt hits. Power's going down the line.
So apparently it hit pretty much
Conduit.
at the 1 or 2 second mark. Because if you notice, basically the clock hit this. What was the time?
I forget off the top of my head.
Yeah.
like-
It's late at night. Sorry, folks.
So it's like 10:04, I think.
Yeah. So if as soon as it hit that 10:04, whichever, that's when the lightning bolt hit. So it probably was at that 0 second or 1 or 2 second mark.
Now Marty's Back to the Future.
So we think.
So we think.
Dum dum dum.
So Doc is in the streets.
Okay, here's one thing. Is that power cables going across the street?
I don't know. It's maybe like
Power
copper
lines?
wire.
I think. Okay, never mind. I thought they were strewn there or whatever. Or that was the power lines for the city. Because I had a question of whether the fact that was the power still on everywhere else.
I don't know.
I was just thinking. Sorry, yawn.
It's not that we're that boring. Oh, and the California raisins. Wow.
Yep.
That's
Those
iconic
things
in the
were cool.
1980. They had a really cool cartoon, actually.
They actually tried to get a better California raisins mention into this, like Steven Spielberg with Reese's Pieces and stuff like that, but they couldn't really.
But it looked like a bowl of dirt when they tried to film it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you just can't
So
make
they couldn't
can't make raisins look cool. I'm
Well,
sorry.
they were because they were gonna have a bowl of raisins underneath the
See,
clock.
look, it's frozen.
Okay. But it wasn't frozen when it went back in time.
When it went into the barn.
No, it's only when it comes out of the past is it frozen. I don't know. Shut up. Maybe when it
ruined your logic.
maybe when it comes back to the native time period, it freezes.
I
Where's
love
the
I love
logic?
the homeless guy's line right there. Though crazy drunk drivers.
Here come
And
the Libyans.
DeLorean dies again. That's like what 3-4 times in this movie.
Something like that. Not nearly as impressive as our heat vision count from our last commentary.
Yeah, that was up to like 12,
Something like that.
12 or 13. The Libyans. Yeah, he's gonna make it on his feet.
So now
All
he's
right,
running to pull up to reveal.
Pull up to reveal the name of the mall, and it's Lone Pine Mall. For those who actually somewhat figured it out, okay, think about it. Twin Pines Mall was the original name of the mall, and then obviously you heard Doc Brown say Peabody's own all of us. They grew pine trees, and since Marty hit a pine tree in the past, it became Lone Pine Mall. Sorry, so that's a cool.
So now Marty's watching himself go back in time.
Exactly. It's kind of weird.
It is, but they keep such good continuity with this. It works.
In this movie, in other movies, when they try to kind of do this again,
I don't know.
not so much.
You know what? We should actually post a show link to that video you were talking about earlier. That shows all the scenes.
I'll see if I can find it again. Hopefully, it's still on. It's on Google Video. I know that. That's where I saw it. So that's what happened to Libyans. They crashed into that thing, whatever it is. No, it's the Libyans, Craig.
There's a difference, not just spelling.
Okay, now this throws the entire movie off for me. Okay.
How so?
Okay, you'll see in a second what actually happened to Doc Brown. Yes, he is still alive, obviously because he read the letter. But when he opens up his jumpsuit, you'll see in a sec. All right, so he's opening it up. Okay, he has specific bulletproof marks of where the bullets were actually going to be.
That's amazing. I never noticed that.
You see the metal spots that he has all over himself?
Well, that's because it tore away at the vest. When you get shot, in the older style vest, it was a big metal plate.
Yeah, but he had metal spots in every single spot where he's been hit.
No, that's the style of the vest. The vest is actually one big metal piece.
Yeah, but that bullet holes line up exactly where those metal pieces were.
No. It's one solid piece. That's one solid piece. Those
the bullets rip the fabric.
Exactly, the bullets rip the fabric. It's not a vest specifically designed, because otherwise that would be really cool. But no.
I guess I learned something, because when I was a kid, that's what I always thought. It's like, how did he know where the bullets were going to hit?
He's just that cool. And actually, it's kind of funny. There was a movie which we should totally do for review at some point called Equilibrium.
Yes.
And they do this thing called gun cod, and they say they can predict exactly where bullets go over 1,000 recorded gunfights.
Wow, that's
cool. I don't know. It's cool. Folks, I recommend you go out and see this movie. Trust me, it's cool. So, Doc just dropped off Marty back in 1985. He lived, yay. And the movie's coming up
Near the end.
near the end. And now Doc went to the year 2015.
Was it 2015?
Yep. 2015 or 2030, something like that. 2000 something. 2050.
15.
15. Yeah, that would make a little bit more sense. Well, from the movie 85, that's what?
30 years.
Wow, look at
That's
that.
30 years,
Pepsi
yeah.
free.
They do 30 years past, 30 years future.
In time. I love that song.
You know what? I think we should add that to the commentary right at the end. We should give these folks a little taste of the movie music. We should add
That's
that.
copyright, dude.
Well, we're giving credit to them.
Yeah, I know, but it's still copyright. It's a weird thing. The MCA kind of screws us over in the States.
Wow. So, folks, go out and buy the soundtrack, which maybe we'll try and link to or something.
Or maybe it's on iTunes. I don't know. We can look.
Yeah.
Wow, look at the house and look how different it is now
Exactly.
compared to what it originally was. And now we see his brother actually for the first time.
Who's successful.
Successful businessman. Breakfast. All right, now that manila envelope that's there. That there was a scene that was actually cut from the movie where at the beginning of the movie, Marty was actually going to send his demo tape of his band to a record company, and it was in that manila envelope. So that's why but he never delivered it, and that's why that manila envelope was there apparently.
Oh, I was totally unaware of that.
Yep. Didn't he say that when he was in?
I think so.
Back to in 1955.
Yeah, I think
so.
Mom, you look hot. Or
No,
something.
that was just your mind.
It's just your mind, yeah.
It's Leah Thompson. What can I say?
Yeah,
Strange
sure.
attraction.
And
Go
Crispin
Caroline.
Glover looks normal. Not the geek that he was, or nerd, or dork that he was originally. Cars wrecked. Wrecked. And the ultimate redemption, Biff.
Polishing a BMW.
Yep,
The Beamer.
the Beamer. But he still has the same hairstyle. Why would he still call him? Why would he call him Mr. McFly if he's known him since high school?
Because he's successful and he's a loser.
Well, okay.
See?
I love what Craig just said. This is what happens when you're jerks to geeks.
Exactly.
We
That's right,
take
folks.
revenge. We will rule the world.
We're just going to take over, folks. I mean, face it. I'm your future ruler. It's true.
So we're all
Emperor
just
Dodd.
scary, scary.
Exactly. Kneel before Dodd. See? It's prophetic.
Oh yeah, his book, his science fiction book. I forgot about that.
And now he's got the truck that he always wanted.
Dang, Skippy. See, if I was able to drive, I would love that truck. But I don't, so I can't.
I got 2 feet, a heartbeat, and a skateboard.
And you can't even do that.
Yeah, I'm known as concussed for a reason, folks.
Concussed?
Concussed. I get a concussion on average once every few months.
Wow.
I suffer a lot of head injuries. That might explain a few things.
Probably
It
does.
explains everything.
It explains
Absolutely.
everything, yes.
Yeah. I mean, you put me on the mic, I'm relatively normal. Otherwise,
And what
no.
is that? Doc.
Doc is back.
Doc is back. It's Terminator 2. That's like the weirdest outfit. That's what they pictured us dressing up like in about
8 years.
8 years. Wow. I need fuel. Mr.
Home energy
Fusion.
reactor.
Mr. Fusion.
I love how they tie this into the second movie so well.
Yep.
It's almost like they shot them at the same time, but they didn't.
In the edited version, by the way, just to let you know, when he said the word a-hole, that was replaced with jerks. The word jerks, I know that.
Now, here's a classic line.
Classic line. I have this on a t-shirt. Roads.
And you should have seen Snowball's T-shirt of that, folks. It was really cool.
I
got it at the Back to the Future ride in Universal Studios Florida.
And here it is.
Boom! And we have Huey Lewis again. Wow, that was a great movie.
That truly was. Listen, this will always go down in history as one of my favorite movies.
Yep, me too.
And I don't know, just for some reason, last week I decided, hey, I want to watch these.
Yeah.
And I was very glad that I did.
I stole them all on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as the credits are now rolling, and we hear Huey Lewis and the News taking us back in time to 1985. This is Steve Snowball Sailor.
I'm Mike the Birdman Dodd, and joining us was
Leslie has no nickname Smith.
Oh no, you have a nickname.
And
You're the Twig groupie.
And random hero
Craig.
So
wow.
For This Week in Geek, I want to thank you all for listening to us, putting up with us, inviting us into your home for 1 hour and 54 minutes and 50 seconds.
That's actually almost the same time as last one, because last one was actually about just under 2 hours, about 1:59.
Exactly.
So
once again, signing off, I'm Mike the Birdman Dodd, and remember, where we're going, we don't need roads.
Thanks, Kirby.
Thanks, folks. Tune in next time, where we're hopefully, I'm not sure what we're going to do next, but stay tuned, and we'll surprise you. Thanks a lot, folks.
Woohoo.
Bye.
Want to see me make bubbles with my spits? Sure do. In fact, that's the theme of our next show. So don't miss it.
Why is the program, freaking out? It's doing it again! This program, communism! Freaking communism!
Can you count pi to 1,000 places? Wait, if you can, you're too much of a nerd.
They gave us a show and we still don't know what we're doing.
I don't know either.
You've been listening to This Week in Geek. Tune in next week where you'll hear Mike say,
I'm ad-libbing this as I go along. I'm just going to let it roll and I can edit out whatever I want. Okay. Shit, I need to think.
So make sure to tune in next Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. on 90.1 FM The Heat. Also make sure to visit our website at thisweekingeek.net for show notes, news, and updates about the show. Also make sure to add yourself to our MySpace page at myspace.com/thisweekingeek. If you'd like to send comments or feedback about the show, email us at feedback@thisweekingeek.net. That's it for us. We'll see you next week on This Week in Geek.